Right, welcome. Good evening. Sorry we got a little bit of a late start today. So if you're hanging out waiting for us, appreciate it. We'll give everybody a moment to get the little notice that we've gone live. And sometimes it takes a moment. So I think the notice has gone out now. And hopefully, we'll get folks joining here over the next couple of moments. My name is Vale, and you've joined us for a little game dev behind the scenes. And today, we want to, as we want to do weekly, highlight somebody who is an artist or other contributor to the community. And so my guest today is one such artist, Drake Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. I gotta give Drake his proper intro, and I already lost it here. I had too many things going on trying to get rolling today. It's been that kind of a week. But
Yeah.
Drake, it's Lord Dracus Maximus, breaker of eggs and ruler of gerbils. That's what I understand his official title is. So, Drake, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that's what they call me back home. But Drake is fine.
Okay, all right, Drake. Well, would you like to take a minute and just sort of introduce yourself a little bit more properly?
Um, well, I am a hobby artist. I am a former music teacher. I've done variety type of creative endeavors, stand-up comedy, and ventriloquism and puppetry. Um, had lots of different types of W-2 jobs and some different side hustles that I'm always trying to work on. Is that heater fan really loud?
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you hear that?
It's all
Is it
good.
really loud?
It's a bit, but I mean, if you got to keep warm, hey,
Okay,
I understand.
I'll turn it off.
So, yeah, you
Um,
dabble in all kinds of stuff.
yeah, writing as well. Yeah, just lots of different creative endeavors.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And I appreciate you taking the time out to join us this evening. We are going to do our best here to fumble our way through all the technical stuff and just, take a look at your work. We've got a lot of it on the screen for folks to see here. And ask you a few questions and feel free to just kind of tell us a little bit about any of your specific projects as we go. If you want to take a minute to kind of focus on something specific, absolutely would love to hear you spin a yarn. Is that what they say? I don't even remember. It's no. We'll just pretend that's what they say.
I haven't
Um,
done a whole lot in firebear arts regarding spinning yarn, but
right.
I did take a fiber art class in college. I did. My final piece was Swedish knot tapestry.
Swedish knot tapestry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's uh,
Okay.
it's it's on a loom, which is about it was probably 2 by 3 inches or something like that, and you make a super mini loom, and you have to plot out. Maybe this relates to gaming somehow. You have to plot out the entire design in advance, stitch by stitch,
Sure. Sure.
and you create a piece of art row by row, one row all the way across, second row all the way across, and so forth. And of course, you have to change your colors. Like is that a matrix printer or what? That does that.
Dot
But
metrics. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, I don't know. It's it was extraordinarily time consuming, but a nice little piece.
I feel like almost everything is time consuming, especially these days compared to now we're in a society where everything is instant gratification. So anything that and the technology is now getting out there to where things can be done instantly. So sometimes the putting time into stuff almost feels like a lost art. No, you know, no pun intended there.
Yeah.
Or but so I also understand. You listed a lot of your different areas of art, but one I didn't hear in the list is also Leonardo da Vinci comes into this, right?
Oh yes. I perform and lecture as Leonardo da Vinci. You may have heard of him. He's another artist, among other things.
Right.
So I performed at the Colorado Renaissance Festival for the last 5 years, I think. Santa Fe Renaissance Festival, um, and I'm currently working on building up that character, that brand. Working on getting some more gigs, doing lectures and those kinds of things. So I've been lecturing around at retirement communities, which are a good place to go for music gigs and lectures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Very cool.
so yeah, it's a ton of fun, and his uh, his creativity and drive is of course just off the charts, and to me, he's an extraordinary uh, role model for creative endeavors and education in general. I mentioned I was a former music teacher, and I still sub around. Um, so, in light of education, I think he's a great model for that as well. His Not just his interests, but his accomplishments are so extraordinary and so diverse. He's the perfect person to embody, to try to take all that out and share that with other people. The possibilities of interactions and presentations are just endless.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do want to welcome those dropping in. We've got some folks coming into the stream. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you jumping in. We're talking with Drake Scott, who is an artist of many types, many varieties, wears many hats, I guess you could say. So speaking of wearing hats, you mentioned the Renaissance Festival. I know you that's something you really enjoy and look forward to every year. Is that how'd this year go as compared to previous ones?
Oh, it's so much fun. Um, Before I get into that,
Yeah.
I cannot see your picture. I assume I'm supposed to be able to, but
Well,
I don't know if that's something in my end or your end. But
yeah, I'm unable to be. So the room you're looking at, I'm unable to be in that because my camera can only be in one place at a time. So it's actually live on the stream. So if you open a separate tab, you can see the actual live stream. Just make sure you have it muted. Under
gotcha.
under our channel. Just make sure you have it muted so it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, everybody.
No, that's
One techified old man. Um,
you know you're not
but yeah,
You're not doing any struggles that I haven't done myself over the last couple of weeks, so don't worry.
Yeah, sure. It's all a process.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to
And then
learn.
some. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah. Uh, the Ren Fest is so fun. I don't know if anybody here has been to Renaissance Festival, but it's basically like every kind of festival that you can think of that's thrown into one. There's arts and crafts and beer and wine and cosplay and period dress. And the part that I do is I dress and act as Leonardo da Vinci, and I walk around the streets and do interactive theater basically with everybody. So that can look lots of different ways, and every interaction I have with somebody is different. But it's so much fun, and it, the most fun I think is when I meet people who love Leonardo da Vinci like I do, and of course we all know that I'm pretending and I'm playing Leonardo da Vinci. Maybe this is another tie into game development. We all know that it's not real, but they really get into it, and they're like, Leonardo da Vinci, you're my favorite, you're my inspiration, and it's so amazing to meet you. And tell me about this, and
That's
you're not
cool.
gonna. I'm my sister back home was not gonna believe this. Let me get a picture with you. So
Very cool.
yeah, people really really get into it.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun.
That's very cool. Very cool indeed. James mentioned in the chat that he goes every year. So yeah, if any of you guys
Excellent.
joining us have comments, questions, feel free to chime in, and we'll throw them over to Drake. Um, but you know, while we're talking, we've got, I don't know if you were able to find the stream and get that pulled up so you can see what it all looks like. But
I
uh,
don't see it.
okay. So what you want to do is go to Golden Character Design, all one word, on Twitch.
Okay, this.
Um, so for anybody who's watching the stream and doesn't know where to find the stream, sorry, that's a bad joke. Yeah.
Oh, I could do
So
it separately.
yeah, you have to do it in a separate tab. Otherwise, that's going to cause problems.
Oh
We're going to lose you. We don't want to lose that. So just
no,
remember when you pull it up to make sure it's muted so that, because it'll cause all kinds
sure.
of problems. Um,
Okay,
yeah. I'm posting the link right now, James. Sorry. Yeah, we were in a mad rush to get stuff done before we got going today. So that's on me. I'm posting the link now. Um, but anyway, while we're talking, what I was getting at is that we do have a bunch of your artwork rolling on the screen here for folks to see, and a lot of amazing
oh
stuff. You've done some great work over the years, and this is just a sampling of it. Um,
yeah.
but
No, and I'll say that I think you pulled all that off of my Instagram, right?
yes,
So um, I do have a number of finished pieces on there. I also put up stuff that's just sketches, like stuff that's in progress or just a really quick um, 5-10 minute sketch or practice sketches working on some element. So not everything you see there is a finished piece. Some of
right.
it's just stuff.
Sure, sure. No, I think it's actually pretty cool to be able to see a range, to see like kind of start to finish on a couple of them, or an early phase and a completed. I like seeing the process. I'm sure there's others who do as well. So, Ludamellet says he has a wide variety of styles for sure. So even within your artwork, A lot of variety. I know you mentioned that on your website, which I'm working on getting the link posted up for. Kind of different areas where you're doing caricatures and illustrations and different commissioned items. So did you want to kind of touch on that a little?
Yeah. I suppose I'll compare myself to Leonardo da Vinci for a moment. Not that I think I'm anywhere on his level, but in the same conceptual discussion, I've always had lots of different interests, and I don't know, maybe kind of a FOMO sort of thing, but there's just always so much cool stuff to do. As I've talked about, lots of the different creative endeavors that I do within the visual arts, there's also a number of different things that I like to do. And I think that that's a great advantage if you can take advantage of that in the way that Da Vinci did and find those elements that connect with each other. Um, all these cross curricular connections. We've niched down so much and specialized so much, and in our education system, we've divided everything up into subjects and periods and so forth. And it does a disservice to us, I think, that we're taught either directly or indirectly that this is one subject, this is another subject, and you're good at this one and you're not good at this one. Or maybe we tell ourselves that, like, I can't do math. Well, as an example, there's math in music, there's math in visual arts, there's math in lots of things. And
For sure.
all of these different things are connected. Um, and when you can find the connections between these different things, um, then you can really not just have fun with it, but you can elevate your craft, whatever it is, to the next level because you're pulling in elements that other people that are doing the same things as you are not doing. You're seeing these connections and making leaps. It's said that that's what genius is the ability to see connections that other people don't see. Now, on the other hand, also like Da Vinci, uh, that was his greatest strength and also his weakness. He was famous for not finishing projects. He would be commissioned for a painting and be paid for it and never finish it. So he got in a number of legal disputes regarding that, and there's a number of unfinished pieces that we have of him. Um, so that's a really interesting aspect that some people don't know. And of course, um, the same thing applies to all of us. And I'm quite guilty of that. I start a lot of things and
Well,
don't finish them or take an extremely
the
long time to finish. But
yeah. Those of us who are doing game development can't relate to that at all. There's nobody out
right
here who, for example, would try to tackle 20 different game dev projects at the same time. And, just yeah. All right.
no, no, I
Yeah.
wouldn't think anyone would be crazy enough to do that.
No, no, nobody that I know.
But also, I don't think that you have to finish everything that you start. I sort of have in my mind that if I don't finish something, then I've failed at that. But that could also be part of the process
Mm-hmm.
if it's
Sure.
done in a more conscious way. Um, there was a story I heard about Peter Gabriel, fantastic recording artist, songwriter, and the story is that he would write 100 beginnings of songs before he found one that was worth finishing.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's kind of like the Thomas Edison uh, saying, right? He didn't fail 99 times because he's a horrible songwriter. He just kept working until he finally found the one that is going to be it.
Yeah. Uh,
So all is part of the process.
yeah. I just saw a recent interview with Jonas Tyroller, who is a game developer who has found success. And he was talking about kind of that very thing, actually, very intentionally. Talking about that when he sets out to develop a game, that his process and what he recommends to people who are just starting out is you kind of prototype and start development on a bunch of ideas at the same time, like 10 of them. So, like, you have your idea, you want to create this kind of game. Great. So that you create 10 versions of that and you sort of put that out there and you get a feel for which one seems to be the best. And then you take that one and you fine tune it and you make 10 versions from that one and you put that out there and say, okay, now which one of these is the best, so that each part of the process you're kind of taking from a larger sample, because the way he puts it, it's simple. If you're picking out of a group instead of just going with the first one that comes to mind, it's always going to be better in the end. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and that also ties into the concept of going that extra mile.
Hmm.
So in the creation of a game or art or whatever, whatever you're going after, um, I don't know the actual number. Let's say 95% of people are gonna figure out something that works and then say, okay, I've got it, and stop there. Few people are going to keep working on it after it is already good with the same amount of investment as they were getting up to that point. But I think if you do, you can really find some beautiful parts of your creation that you haven't found yet. So not just stopping at, okay, this is good, but keep working, keep exploring after that. And how much better could it be
Yeah.
past that point?
Yeah. I do want to take a moment to chime in for everybody who's looking for Drake out there and mentioning the links. His Instagram, yeah, is posted there in the chat, and his website is available in our links section. If you go to our About page, there's a links tab, and you'll be able to see his website there, which should also have other links for him located there. So you can be able to track him down that way. Um, yeah, cool. So I guess what I would like to do is give you the opportunity. Were you able to get the feed up? Did you figure that out? Do you have visual? No.
I
Okay.
don't. You
All right.
said that this link. Oh, maybe I was looking at the wrong link here. Okay. Do
I
It says follow or whisper.
No, you're in the wrong. You need to open up a completely separate tab and
Yeah.
just go to
Okay.
twitch.tv.
Okay. I thought there was a link in the chat to go there.
No, I don't think so. It's a new process. That's all right. Um, and
Oh,
yeah, this, by
music
the way,
flowing.
right here, that's his website. Uh, and so, like I said, the link down below. And then we'll talk about that other item down there here in a few. Um, but once you go onto twitch.tv, hopefully it'll pop up for you. If it doesn't, just put in golden character design, all one word, and you should
All right.
find us. Got it?
I see you.
All right, cool.
Yep.
So hopefully you also see yourself. And the key being, you can see the art that we're showing, so that I didn't know if by chance there was a piece that you wanted to talk about in particular, or if you wanted to talk about a series that you were working on. It's all kind of just mixed in here, and but if
Hmm.
there was one piece in particular that you wanted to kind of share a story on or anything like that, give you the opportunity to kind of just reminisce a little.
Sure. Um,
I know that's got to be one of
I
your
don't know if there's
faves.
any. I like it. Yeah, that's Daenerys, and I can't even think of his name. Of course, from Game of Thrones. That's my favorite. Oh, I might be behind. Yes,
Yeah,
this is my favorite.
yeah,
This is
okay,
honestly probably the favorite. The X Files one is probably
yeah.
the favorite piece that I've done. Um, that's my favorite show, and I'm just really happy with the way that one came out. This is our parents, um, our dad and stepmom out in Massachusetts. That's a watercolor painting. That's one of my favorite writers, Mark Twain. That one, I was trying to do a study in values, the Mark Twain one. Um, so I did it. It's almost completely in black and white. There's a little bit of kind of a red shading in there, but it's a common study in visual art to work on creating a realistic picture using only values, not colors.
Yeah,
It's a great exercise to do that.
that
It
picture of
shows the.
Martin Luther King Jr. is just amazing, spectacular.
Thank you. Yeah, same kind of thing. A number of these, and I can point them out as they come up, although I think there is a bit of a delay for me. Um, a number of these are memorial paintings
Yeah,
for people and even some pets. And I have found that, okay, now this piece, The Girl Running Through the Woods, this was more of just an exercise for me, but it turned out to be one of my other favorite pieces that I've done. And primarily because of the style that I was exploring. And that's a blend of watercolor with ink lines, um, using dip pen inks for the lines, and then, of course, watercolor to bring that to life and add depth. That was a memorial painting with those 6 people with the rainbow colors. Um, those were all the people that were shot in a nightclub in Colorado Springs a couple of years ago. Um,
yeah.
yeah, were you
I
gonna say something?
I was just gonna. I mean, I was gonna see if I could try to slow it down for you, because by the time you start talking about one, we're on the next one. So I apologize for that. I should have had it at a much slower pace. But admittedly,
Well,
I'm
that's
I'm
right.
very partial to the one that you did, of my daughter Tabitha. Um,
Yeah,
One of my favorite pieces, of course. It means a lot to have that. We've got that one hanging up in big print up in our front of our place. So I'll show that one,
yeah,
call that one out when it comes up. But yeah, I mean, you've done some wonderful memorial work, and hopefully, that's I don't know. It's so tough because I'm sure that there's got to be a lot of emotions in trying to do something like that. But at the same time, the ability that you have to kind of capture, the soul and the essence of that person and be able to share that with families, and I know, um, how much it's meant to some of those folks, what you've been able to do. And, to me personally, I think that, it's a wonderful gift, and hope you'll be able to keep doing it, and hopefully people will be able to come to you for that kind of work in the future, as tough as it might be.
Yeah, it's something that I've been thinking about for a while. That I would like to have a focus on that, um, for that reason, because it can help people out in a time of grief. Just something special to
Yeah,
something that I can give a little bit.
yeah. I haven't. I've been paying more attention to you than to the images, but I haven't seen it come up. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to just find that one
I
through the
don't
site. I know there's the one that you were
yeah, I
mentioning
don't remember
earlier,
seeing it.
with the those from the club in Colorado Springs. But yeah, and then there's a
Yep.
picture of you also that I really love that you did a self portrait that I think is just amazing as well. It's the one that we also have on our wall. I'll have to see here if it comes
Speaking
up.
of
Go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, speaking of that one in that memorial of those five from Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Um, Not to go too dark here, but just going on that subject we were just talking about, I put it up on social media, um, shortly after all that was happening, and of course it was well known in the news and all over social media, um, with the intention of just kind of bringing light to it and to honor them.
Yeah.
And one of the family members of one of those ladies that was killed contacted me and just said that it meant a lot to her and she really loved the piece. So I thought that was pretty special.
For
That
sure.
even a total stranger could be touched by that.
Well, of course. I mean, it's beautiful work, and definitely think it's a talent that you got to be able to share, because the people who are going to really appreciate that. I mean, I know I'd cherish the one of Tabby all the time. So, um, anyhow, yeah, we kind of went a little darker than I expected to, but I think it's important. I think it's important. I mean, that's one of the greatest
Sure.
things about art, really, is when you can really touch somebody on an emotional level, instead of it just being something nice to look at. So, kudos to that. That's something worth
Yeah,
recognizing. Yeah. All right.
absolutely.
Um,
Thank you. I'm looking for.
Okay. And if
Oh,
anybody else has any questions about any specific pieces that you've seen, or anything else for Drake, feel free to just drop it in the chat there, and we'll field those to him. But I guess then I was going to prepare. There was another slide I was going to prepare, but I guess gonna doesn't mean anything now. But I thought maybe we could take a moment and talk. Oh, go ahead. There you go. Is that okay?
I don't know. Can you see that?
Yep. Yep.
That's my favorite self portrait I've done
Yep, mine too.
so far.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see too much of the detail there, but
Yeah, it doesn't show up super well on the cam and with the lighting and everything, but it's a great picture.
Yep.
Good one. Yeah, love it for
Yeah.
sure.
The thing that, well, you can see there's my first self portrait that I ever did. It's probably already gone,
Yeah.
but it's really small. It's probably like that big, and you can see like it's pretty large looking brushstroke. So it sort of has a cool impressionist kind of look. But that was the first one I ever did. Oh, and then this one. Um, you can see a couple things if you look at my self portraits over the years. You can see the progression of my ability with the watercolors, and you can also see my progression of varying facial hair, which is
Right.
kind of fun.
Right. I think you know, if you start doing when as you start doing game art, I think that being able to do small images is crucial. You know, it can be anyway. Obviously you want to scale down for so that you have quality. But if you know you're going to have an object in the game that's going to be very small, you want to be able to create small rather than creating all that detail and then losing it when you shrink it down. So when
Right.
you're creating game assets and stuff, it's helpful to be able to draw things on a small scale. So we'll let
Yeah.
that transition into what my question was going to be then, and that is artwork for the stick figure game. You do all this incredible art we're seeing here on the screen. Um, you know, Drawing stick figures might seem a little, I don't know, basic, but figuring out how to kind of bring them to life, I think, will be a cool challenge. I know we talked about
Oh yeah.
creating multiple images so that we turn them into animated, animations, which I know will help with that. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that wasn't a question. Sorry. Have you given any? Have you given
I
any?
agree. Yes.
Yes. Have you given any thought to the processes there, or to kind of how you take, I don't know, how you go from what you're doing here into something like that that's completely different? Like you said, you like the different,
Yeah.
yeah, different genres, different approaches. Here's a new one.
Yeah. I think the animation aspect is the biggest challenge because you have to figure out, as we've begun to do, how to place the stick figure within the frame that is going to be used for the software, where to place it, and then, of course, um, how that stick figure is going to move within that frame, and then you deal with a new set of challenges, figuring out how to make that animation smooth, going from one position to another position, while keeping other aspects of the stick figure exactly the same. So we're figuring that out. Kind
Yeah,
of, it's
yeah.
that's more on the technical side.
Yeah, and I think it's like we talked about coming up with different poses and so forth, like multiple actions representing or multiple animations representing the same action. And so then, of course, the challenge is the more you add, the more complex it gets because you now have to be able to take each time you use a different animation, you've got to create an animation to come back out of that into the next action, and they start to stack. So It's interesting, but yeah, we're that's these guys are trying to draw stick figures in the chat. I love it. You guys are hilarious. That's awesome.
Well
um,
done.
right, right. The challenges of chat emojis when there are none. We'll have to add that. Like once
Hmm.
we reach our goal of 50 followers, I'll just call that out. Then we get a whole bunch of new features in the channel, like we can have customizable emojis, and we should definitely have a stick figure man. That should definitely be, figure that out. That'd be cool. So the
For
stick,
sure.
yeah. So the stick figure game, for anybody who doesn't know, which is probably the majority of you, um, is a game that Drake and I used to play. For anybody who hasn't picked up on it by now, we are brothers, and we used to play the stick figure game. It's something that we created when we were kids.
We're brothers. That explains so much.
What? Okay. Yeah. Um, it does. I don't. It does explain a little. I don't know if it explains so much, but yeah. So the stick figure game we used to play when we were kids, we would just
Explains a lot
grab.
of my nightmares.
We would just grab a sheet of graph paper and a pencil and a die, and we would, literally, it's a capture the flag game. And so, if you haven't seen it on the website, you're welcome to check it out there. But this is brand new, relatively speaking, this digital version. We used to just play with a pencil and eraser. I think we had to get a backup pencil just for the eraser, if I remember right, because we'd wear the eraser out completely, and start wearing holes into the paper. So we'd have
Right.
to, like, yeah, as we'd move them around and stuff. But so I just took that game, that concept that we had, and that's one of the games that we're developing for release. It's scheduled to be out in April of 2025. We're working on the Steam page right now, so people will be able to wish list that soon. Probably within by like the beginning of January, you'll be able to get in there and wish list, and we'll have a demo out for Next Fest. That's the plan at this stage. So exciting, exciting. Kind of the main thing we have to do on it is these animations. So um, I would say no pressure, but I don't know, that seems pointless at this point. All right. We'll circle back. Um, Uh, well, let's see. We've gotten to talk about the stuff we're seeing cycle through. What about next? Like, what's kind of your a current project or next project or goal? What are you working towards aside from animations
Well,
from
that's,
stick figure game?
yeah, it's on my list.
I
Believe me.
have no doubt it is. I have no doubt. We talked at the beginning.
Um,
We talked at the beginning of the episode about our lists and how ridiculous we make them because we try to tackle too much. So I know all about it.
yeah.
Go
Yes.
ahead. I'm sorry.
I have been making an effort. How well I'm succeeding is a different conversation, but I've been making an effort to focus down more on Leonardo da Vinci. So, as I mentioned before, I'm working on um, just building his awareness and getting some independent gigs and building my cache of lecture topics. Um, hopefully, I got a new booking for February for a retirement community that's having an art day.
So cool.
So I'll come and do a
Yeah,
lecture, talk
great.
about Mona Lisa or maybe some other paintings. And oh, another little plug here.
Sure.
Leonardo has a YouTube channel, and there's nothing
Cool.
up there yet, but the channel's there.
Okay. All
And
right.
I have some, I have some stuff filmed, so I've got to just do some editing and some more filming. But hopefully, pretty soon, I'm gonna start releasing some regular videos as Leonardo.
Nice.
Um, so that's pretty exciting. It's gonna be some educational, some entertaining, and
Very cool. Very
it's
cool.
kind of a variety of stuff.
Hopefully, your list of editing projects is not like mine. I have literally a full sheet of paper listing all the different sessions and things that I've recorded that I just need to edit so I can post. And yeah, yeah, 'cause I don't, we'll just tack that up. It's on the list, like you say. Oh man, well, cool. No, I'm excited for you. That's awesome. I also want to mention before I forget, just for anybody who is hanging out and thinking about leaving, you might want to hold out till the end because I've got a special treat in honor of Drake being here on the feed today. We used to, when we were young, we used to do a whole bunch of videos and all kinds of goofy stuff.
Don't tell me
And
you're gonna
I have
play
I have got one
any of those
for
videos.
you that is going to be brand new to the world um, before anybody leaves today. It's coming. So
Okay.
it's we're rolling this out just in honor of you being the guest tonight. So yeah, that'll be shortly. I've probably built it
All
up
right.
too much, but we'll see. Oh man! All
I'm sure
right,
you
cool.
have.
Well, if you want to send the YouTube link, or are you gonna? I assume you're gonna post. I don't know. How do you interact between like Brashanigans and Leonardo da Vinci? Do you do any crossover on those, or not at all?
Um, no, not really.
Okay.
Well, I will say that I've been working on this last summer at the Ren Fest. Um, I started doing live sketches of people in the fair, um, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a while, but it's a
Yeah.
bit scary to do a live sketch, and you got to do it fast. That's the thing. Like
Right.
if I'm in the studio, you can take as long as you need, and if it's garbage, you can throw it away and start again, and the end
Right.
result is fantastic. But if you got to do something in 5 to 10 minutes right in front of somebody,
Yep.
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Um,
I can
and
imagine.
so I started practicing with a traditional approach to caricature work and discovered that it's very different than doing studio work. Like there's Joe Biden, or maybe he was there 5 minutes ago for you guys, but it's a relatively standard caricature style. Um, and I like the work that I've done in the studio, but working on the live stuff, it's a completely different animal. And my stuff was absolutely horrible. I'm like, I can't do this. Well, somehow I came around to the idea that I could do more of a sketch style that's realistic rendering, make it a caricature, which is actually something that Leonardo da Vinci did in some of his sketches. Um, he called them, or we call them, the grotesques. So they're beautifully rendered sketch drawings of people's faces, but they're exaggerated. So possibly he was the first caricature artist. They're wonderful pieces. So again, I'm not saying I'm on Leonardo da Vinci's level, but that is the general style that I started going after, and that's what I did this summer at the Renfest, and I had a lot of success with it and a lot of fun with it. So maybe there's a lesson in there too. If you're trying to do something that you've seen other people do that you love so much, but you just can't get it, well, maybe there's another avenue that you
Sure.
can do that no one else is doing.
There you
So
go.
I'm not the first person to do this, but in terms of a caricature artist, it's a very unusual style. And some people may love it and some people may not want that at all. But I'm going to keep working on developing that, getting faster and getting better at it. And I don't have any pictures, unfortunately. One of the Leonardo videos I'm going to put up is going to be a compilation of those
Oh, that'd
sketches
be
that I
cool.
did. I gave them all to the people that I drew them of,
Right. Right.
so I don't have those, but I tried to get at least a snapshot of the final picture with them.
Right.
So
You need to have like get somebody to just hang out and roll video, B-roll video of you, the whole time
yeah,
at the
I
festival.
tried that. I had a couple people that I knew come in and do that, and didn't work.
No?
It it takes a little bit of film knowledge,
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe at
without getting into that too much, it was kind of a disaster.
Alright. Well, all right. Unfortunate, unfortunate, but definitely would love to see some of your stuff there. So, what I was going to say, or what I started to say earlier, is feel free to send me your YouTube channel as soon as you get some of that material posted, and I'll share that link as well with folks. So,
Yeah.
it'd be cool. Yeah, definitely. All right. So, everybody's been
There's
pretty.
there's the name of my YouTube channel.
Okay, there you go. Cool,
So if
cool, cool.
anyone wants to go and subscribe so that you can be notified when that stuff pops up. I have no idea if anybody here is interested in that kind of thing or not, but thank you.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, we haven't had any further questions pop up or anything, so we are getting close on time. So I do want to give you the opportunity if there's anything else you wanted to promote or mention or have a discussion about before we do run out of time. I don't want to steal the opportunity from you.
Mm. Um, Nothing in particular, though. I was thinking that the discussion of inspiration is interesting. Um, I don't know if you want to talk about where you get inspiration from in a game concept.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually touched on that topic our last couple of roundtable discussions. So on Wednesday evenings, we do a discussion group. We just a roundtable about any kind of topic at all, and we have touched on that inspiration idea, concept, and for me, probably the biggest thing is just and it was similar with other our guests, just pulling from things that we've seen that we like, and we just take a piece or an element or a mechanic from something that we've enjoyed personally, and combine it with a piece or an element or a mechanic from something else that we like and put our own spin on those things, you know. So you grab little things that you've enjoyed and put your own spin and combine things together that maybe haven't always been put together. So, yeah. So it looks like I got a question here for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, as a traditional artist, what advice do you have for an aspiring artist, specifically outside of digital art, more towards paper and oils, acrylic? Oh boy, I should have read it ahead of time. How do you say that?
Gouache.
Gouache,
Gouache.
gouache, charcoal, etc. Paper, canvas, art. See, that tells you how out of the art loop I am. I
Yeah.
am not an
Well,
artist.
I I would probably still describe myself as an aspiring artist myself. Um, but I would say probably the best advice I could give is just create. Just start playing and keep playing. Um, a lot of us, and I know myself for sure, gets so focused on if this piece of art was what I wanted. Did it succeed in achieving my vision? What mistakes did I make? What did I do wrong? And so forth. But like we talked about before, there's so much to the process. And I think the best thing that any creator can do is just create and create some more and then create. And it's an invaluable process. For me, I have to let go of too much criticism, um, and try and focus more on just making more. And that process of just trying stuff out, making stuff is invaluable.
Yeah, I mean, it ties right into the same thing. You know, some of the biggest advice, you know, you always hear from Pirate on Twitch or whatever, you know, that, you know, same thing. The biggest advice is just make games. You know, you hear that all the time. Just make games. And I think it applies to a lot of stuff. Sometimes we get caught up in our head and we worry about, you know, what other people think, or I know I do this, and I know you well, so I know you do this too, but we often get caught up in trying to plan and organize and prioritize so much to the point that we actually sometimes take away from our time of actually doing. I know I'm guilty of that even as of late, like even today.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great question and great question and great advice. Thank you. Follow up question: when it comes to working with color and values, what kind of advice could you give to provide some insight on how to start seeing that element break through on paper and canvas?
Yeah, I'd say, um, just find some basic exercises like I talked about the uh, Mark Twain piece. There it is, right there. It was an exercise I did in value, and it didn't come out quite the way I'd envisioned, but it was a good learning exercise for me in that field of value. So you can find lots of specific exercises that target color and value, and different ways to do that. You can work on monochromatic pieces and uh, use just black and white, lots of different elements. And but I guess the key idea is that you want to isolate the skill that you want to focus on find an exercise that takes away all of the other aspects of a final piece of art and just isolates that one element so you can really play with it and focus on it.
Cool, cool. Thank you, Drake. And well, I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your work, sharing your thoughts, and just getting to know you a little bit. Appreciate the time. Sure.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I mentioned a few minutes ago that, like even today, like even lately, I sometimes get caught up in my organization planning or sidetrack kind of stuff. Um, side kind of get sidelined and off topic. It happens, and this next little element is going to demonstrate that quite fully. That sometimes you can take a thought too far. I I have a tendency at the end of all these programs, at the end of my stream, to always say, "That's a wrap," and or "All right, we're gonna wrap things up," and that's got my mind stuck in in a bad place. So I guess I'm going to start something new, which is basically to say, all right, it's time to wrap. Oh, yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Let's go. When he says that's a wrap, it means the show's about to end. And while it might seem like crap, we don't mean to offend. Now we can all take a nap and begin to mend from hearing this here rap and hope it don't become a trend. Cause Vale, he's no rapper, he's an ordinary bloke. Might be bad, might be sad, but in the end he's just a dad. In his robe, looking dapper, can't resist a dad joke. Over the top, and he just won't stop. Thinking that deserves a mic drop. Oh my goodness. All right. So there's my I promised something, I didn't promise it was going to be great, but thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you I don't know, maybe you didn't hear it because if you had your audio only on our meet, you might not have heard the audio on that. So
I could not.
yeah, all you'll have to do as soon as this ends, the entire feed will be posted on the channel. So you can go to, as soon as we end, you can go to the other channel and just skip to the end and play it so you can get the full value of that.
Okay.
Value being a very loose term, but anyway. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys' comments. Definitely appreciate that. It was so yeah. What's worse is I'm not done. That is a taste of what is yet to come.
Oh no.
I just
I mean,
it's
I can't wait.
it, it's just another example of how one little joke turns into a monster project for me. But whatever. Anyway, there you go. In honor of my brother, we used to do that kind of stuff all the time. So definitely, yeah. As soon as we cut, you can jump over there and rewatch that. Hopefully, you'll enjoy that.
Oh, I'm going right there.
All right, guys. So, what I'm going to do to wrap this up, the one thing that we do like to do, since we are working on building a community of game developers, is to simply try to support other developers, instead of dropping you into the void at the end of the stream, we're going to drop into another game dev channel and just, hope you'll just say hi or whatever on your way through with them. So that they feel the support of the community. That's sort of how we like to end the program. So we're going to drop to that in just a few seconds. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Drake, for joining us and sharing. Appreciate it.